Let me ask you something. When was the last time you told someone about your big plans? How did they respond? Did they cheer you on, or did their doubts creep into your mind like a shadow dimming your light? You see, there's a lesson in that moment. Life isn't a press conference, and your dreams aren't meant to be broadcasted for public approval. Here's the truth. Silence is power. The world has a strange way of draining energy from the things you hold dear. The moment you start announcing what you're building, the distractions come, opinions flood in. And let's be real, not every voice in your circle wants to see you win. Protect your vision. It's like a flame. It starts small and vulnerable. Share it with the wrong people, and they'll snuff it out before it has the chance to grow. Keep it hidden, nurtured, and guarded. And when it becomes a roaring fire, they won't be able to ignore it. Your energy speaks louder than words ever will. You don't need to convince anyone of your progress. They'll see it. The world doesn't care about promises. It respects results. So let your actions do the talking. Now, let's talk about the truth no one likes to admit. Not everyone is in your corner. Some people wear masks of support, but behind closed doors, they're doubting you, even envying you. You don't need that negativity invading your mind. Your journey is yours. Don't give anyone else the blueprint to what God placed in your heart. Here's the beauty of moving in silence. The element of surprise is underrated. While they're busy guessing, you're busy building. While they're doubting, you're achieving. And when the time comes, your results will speak so loudly, the doubters won't have anything left to say. But there's one more thing you need to know. You control your narrative. The moment you overshare, you give others the power to rewrite your story. Stop giving the world front row seats to a show that's still in rehearsal. So, I'll leave you with this. Walk boldly, but walk quietly. Work relentlessly, but speak sparingly. Let them wonder what's going on in your life while you rise above their expectations. Because one day, they'll ask how you did it. And you'll smile, knowing that your silence was your greatest strength. There's a strength that lies in silence, a strength most people overlook because we live in a world that craves attention and validation. People want to announce every step they take, every idea they have, and every milestone they reach. But when you constantly put your plans and progress on display, you weaken the foundation of what you're building. Not every seed you plant needs to be shown to the world. Some things grow best in the dark, away from prying eyes and unsolicited opinions. When you keep your plans private, you create an environment where they can grow without interference. Think about it. When a seed is planted, it's buried deep in the soil, hidden from sight. It doesn't grow because people are watching. It grows because the conditions are right. The soil protects it, the water nourishes it, and the sun provides energy. If you dig it up too soon, just to show the world it's sprouting, you risk killing it before it has the chance to flourish. Your dreams and goals work the same way. The moment you share your plans with others, you invite their energy into your space. Some of that energy may be supportive, but much of it will not be. There will be doubts, criticisms, and even envy disguised as advice. People will project their fears and limitations onto you, and if you're not careful, you'll start to question yourself. Their voices will echo in your mind, making you second-guess what you were once so certain about. That's the power of influence, and it's one of the main reasons you need to protect your vision. It's not just about other people's opinions, though. There's a psychological shift that happens when you talk about your plans before they're complete. Speaking about your goals can create a false sense of accomplishment. You feel good talking about it, and that good feeling can trick your mind into believing you've already done the work. But words are not actions, and ideas are not results. The more you talk, the less energy you have to execute. Silence helps you maintain focus. It keeps your energy directed toward action rather than validation. There's also a strategic advantage in silence. When people don't know what you're working on, they can't interfere. They can't copy your ideas, steal your momentum, or create obstacles for you. Moving in silence allows you to make progress without distractions or resistance. You're not giving anyone the opportunity to hold you back because they don't know what you're doing. It's like playing a game of chess. Your opponent can't counter your moves if they don't know your strategy. Silence gives you the freedom to change course without judgment. When you announce your plans, you feel an unspoken pressure to follow through exactly as you've described. That pressure can be paralyzing, especially if you realize along the way that you need to adjust your approach. But when you keep your plans private, you can pivot as needed without worrying about what anyone else thinks. You're free to explore, experiment, and evolve without the weight of external expectations. The truth is, not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Some people will never see your vision the way you do, and that's okay. It's not their responsibility to believe in you. It's yours. When you keep your plans to yourself, you give yourself the space to believe in your dreams without interference. You give yourself the time to build confidence and clarity before sharing your vision with the world. When the time is right, the results will speak for themselves. People will see the fruits of your labor, and they'll wonder how you did it. They'll admire your success without realizing the quiet work it took to get there. And that's the beauty of silence. It allows you to focus on the process, so the outcome can be even greater than you imagined. So, learn the art of keeping your plans and progress private. Treat your dreams like a treasure, not something to be displayed for everyone to see. Nurture them in the quiet, knowing that what you're building is worth protecting. Not every seed needs to be shown to the world, but when it's ready, it will bloom in a way that's impossible to ignore. And when that moment comes, your silence will have been your greatest ally. There is a delicate beauty to your dreams, a fragile strength in the early stages of a vision. It begins as a spark, something born in the quiet corners of your mind, a whisper of what could be. It's personal, powerful, and full of potential, but also vulnerable. When you share your goals too soon, you expose that fragile vision to forces it may not yet be ready to withstand. Opinions, doubts, and judgments can seep in, slowly chipping away at the confidence you had in your dream. Not everyone will see what you see. Your vision is unique to you. It's shaped by your experiences, your desires, and your purpose. When you reveal it to others before it's fully formed, you invite their perspectives into something deeply personal. Some may encourage you, but many will criticize, not because they mean harm, but because they can only see the world through their own limited lens. Their doubts may not be about you, but about their own inability to imagine what you're striving for. Even so, those doubts have a way of taking root in your mind if you're not careful. Think of your vision as a plant just beginning to grow. In its early stages, it's delicate, needing the right environment to thrive. If you expose it to the harsh elements too soon, it can wither before it has the chance to bloom. Your goals require the same kind of care and protection. They need time to develop, to gain strength, and to grow into something that can withstand external forces. Sharing your goals prematurely is like placing that tender plant in a storm. It's not ready for that level of exposure. Beyond the opinions of others, there's another risk to revealing your plans too early. You can lose focus. The act of talking about your goals can create a false sense of accomplishment, as if sharing them is a step toward achieving them. But words are not the same as actions, and validation from others can distract you from the work that needs to be done. When you tell people what you're aiming for, you might feel the need to explain yourself, to justify your choices, or to seek approval. All of that takes energy that could be better spent working quietly on your dream. There's a psychological freedom in keeping your vision private. When it's just you and your goal, there's no pressure to prove anything to anyone. You can move at your own pace, take risks, and make adjustments without fear of judgment. You're not bound by anyone's expectations or timelines. This freedom allows you to stay focused, to listen to your intuition, and to let your vision evolve naturally. Another important reason to protect your vision is that not everyone you share it with will have your best interests at heart. It's a hard truth, but there are people who won't celebrate your success. Some will envy it, others will undermine it, and a few may even try to sabotage it. They might not do so openly, but their subtle doubts, dismissive comments, or lack of support can be just as damaging. By keeping your goals to yourself, you shield your vision from negative energy that could derail your progress. It's not about being secretive, it's about being wise. Timing matters. There's a season for everything, including sharing your vision. When the foundation is solid, when the progress is undeniable, and when your confidence is unshakable, that's when you can let others in. By then, your vision will have grown strong enough to stand on its own. The opinions of others, whether positive or negative, won't have the power to affect it because you've already built something real. When you protect your vision, you're not just safeguarding your dream, you're also protecting your peace of mind. You're giving yourself the space to focus on what truly matters, the work, the growth, and the journey. It's about honoring the sacredness of your goals and respecting the process it takes to achieve them. Your dreams don't need to be validated by others to be worthy. They only need your belief and your effort. Keep them close, nurture them quietly, and let them shine when they're ready. When that moment comes, the world will see what you've built, and the strength of your vision will speak louder than any words ever could. There's a quiet truth about energy. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be hidden. The world may be filled with noise, with endless chatter and proclamations, but energy cuts through it all like a clear note in a chaotic symphony. It doesn't need to shout, and it doesn't beg for attention. It simply speaks, loud and undeniable, because actions and the energy behind them have a resonance that words alone can never achieve. Talk is cheap, and promises are easy to make. Words can inspire, yes, but they can also deceive. A person can say all the right things, make all the bold claims, and yet have nothing real to show for it. The true measure of character, determination, and intent isn't found in what someone says, it's in what they do. It's in the energy they carry, the way they move through the world, and the trail of results they leave behind. When you focus your energy on action, you send out a message that's far more powerful than any words you could ever speak. It's not about telling people what you're going to do, it's about showing them through your consistency, your commitment, and the results that follow. Actions don't need explanations. They speak for themselves. They carry weight, credibility, and undeniable truth. Energy doesn't lie. When you pour your focus, effort, and passion into your goals, people can feel it. There's a magnetic quality to someone who's deeply aligned with their purpose. They don't have to announce their intentions because their energy does it for them. It's in the way they show up every day, the quiet confidence they exude, and the unwavering belief in what they're doing. That kind of energy is infectious. It draws people in without needing to be loud. But this kind of energy doesn't come from empty ambition or trying to prove a point. It comes from authenticity and purpose. When your actions align with your true intentions, your energy becomes a force of nature. It's not about impressing others or seeking validation. It's about fulfilling something within yourself. And when you operate from that place, people can't help but notice, even if you never say a word. There's also a humility in letting your actions speak for you. Words often come with a need for acknowledgement, but actions are self-sufficient. They don't demand applause or recognition. They simply exist as proof of your effort. When you focus on doing rather than talking, you shift your energy from seeking validation to creating results. That shift is powerful because it frees you from the noise of external opinions and allows you to fully commit to your journey. At the same time, your actions build credibility. People trust what they see far more than what they hear. When you consistently show up, deliver on your promises, and let your results do the talking, you establish a reputation that no amount of words could create. Your energy becomes your signature, an unspoken message that says, "This is who I am, and this is what I stand for." There's also a patience to this process that many overlook. The world may expect instant results and constant updates, but true success is built in silence, through steady effort and resilience. It's not about rushing to prove yourself. It's about staying committed to the work, even when no one is watching. Because the truth is, the most impactful energy is cultivated in the quiet moments, the early mornings, the late nights, the times when it's just you and your vision. And when the results finally come, they will speak louder than any announcement ever could. There's nothing more powerful than undeniable proof that you put in the work, overcame the obstacles, and made something real. People will see the energy behind your success, and they'll feel its authenticity. They won't need you to explain it because it will be written in every step you've taken and every result you've achieved. So, let your success make the noise. Focus your energy on the work, not the words. Trust that the power of your actions will speak for you, louder and clearer than anything else ever could. And when the world finally takes notice, they won't just hear your story, they'll feel the energy of everything you've built. And that is a message no one can ignore. There is a harsh but necessary truth we all must come to terms with. Not everyone you share your journey with will celebrate it. The world is filled with people who carry their own insecurities, doubts, and fears. And sometimes, those emotions spill over into how they perceive your ambitions. When you openly share your dreams and progress, you make yourself vulnerable to the intentions of others, both good and bad. While some may genuinely root for you, others might doubt your ability or even work against you, whether consciously or unconsciously. It's not always malice that causes people to doubt or undermine your efforts. Many times, it's their own limitations that color their view of your potential. If they've never dared to dream big or faced their own fears of failure, they may find it difficult to believe that you can achieve what they never thought possible for themselves. Instead of encouraging you, they project their fears onto your path, unintentionally planting seeds of doubt. They might say things like, "Are you sure that's realistic?" Or, "Maybe you should have a backup plan." While these comments might seem harmless on the surface, they can chip away at your confidence over time. Then there are those who operate from a place of envy. When you start to rise, your progress can act as a mirror, reflecting back to others the areas of their lives where they feel stagnant. Instead of using your success as inspiration, they may feel threatened by it. This envy can manifest in subtle ways: dismissive remarks, passive-aggressive comments, or even attempts to downplay your achievements. In some cases, it may escalate into outright sabotage, where their actions are designed to hold you back or discredit you. Recognizing these dynamics is crucial for protecting your energy and staying focused on your goals. This doesn't mean you should close yourself off entirely or become mistrustful of everyone around you. It means being discerning about whom you allow into your inner circle and what you choose to share. Your dreams are precious, and not everyone deserves a front-row seat to your journey. Reserve that space for the people who have proven their loyalty, support, and genuine belief in your potential. Another important aspect to consider is how sharing your goals too widely can drain your energy. Every time you discuss your plans with someone, you open yourself up to their opinions, whether positive or negative. While positive feedback can be encouraging, it can also create a sense of premature accomplishment that tricks your brain into feeling like you've already achieved something. On the other hand, negative feedback can dampen your enthusiasm and cause unnecessary self-doubt. By keeping your goals close to your chest, you maintain control over your narrative and preserve the energy needed to bring your vision to life. It's also worth noting that not everyone who doubts you is doing so out of malice. Sometimes people genuinely believe they are protecting you from disappointment. They may see your ambition as risky or unrealistic, and their discouragement is a reflection of their own cautious mindset. While their intentions may be well-meaning, their perspective isn't necessarily aligned with your purpose. Remember, you are the one who has been given this vision, not them. You don't need their approval to pursue what sets your soul on fire. Protecting your goals doesn't mean living in secrecy, but it does mean exercising wisdom. Share your progress with those who have earned your trust and have shown they genuinely care about your growth. These are the people who will celebrate your wins, offer constructive feedback, and stand by you during setbacks. Their support will amplify your energy rather than deplete it, helping you stay focused and motivated. It's important to trust yourself and your journey. You don't need the world's validation to pursue your dreams. By being mindful of whom you share with and maintaining a clear focus on your path, you can guard against the distractions and negativity that may come your way. Not everyone has your best interests at heart, but that's okay. The people who matter will show themselves through their actions, and their support will be more than enough to sustain you. Stay vigilant, stay focused, and above all, stay true to yourself. Your journey is yours to walk, and your success is yours to claim. Let your actions, your energy, and your results speak for themselves. The right people will see your light, and the rest will fade into the background where they belong. There's an unspoken power in keeping your progress quiet, in working diligently behind the scenes while the world remains unaware of what you're building. In a world that constantly demands updates, announcements, and glimpses into every step of the process, mastering the art of surprise is a skill that sets you apart. The element of surprise is underrated, yet it holds the kind of impact that words and intentions alone can never achieve. When results speak louder than promises, the effect is undeniable and unforgettable. Surprise carries with it an energy that commands attention. When you quietly invest your time, energy, and focus into your goals without fanfare, you're not just conserving energy, you're cultivating a reservoir of potential that others don't see coming. And when that potential finally manifests, the impact is amplified because it defies expectation. People don't anticipate greatness when they're unaware of the effort happening behind the scenes, and that lack of expectation gives you an edge. Announcing your plans too early can dilute their power. When you share your intentions prematurely, you invite commentary, opinions, and expectations that can distract or derail you. People may question your approach, challenge your vision, or attempt to impose their own limitations on what they believe you can achieve. Even well-meaning advice can sow seeds of doubt, leading you to second-guess yourself or feel the need to explain and justify your actions. By keeping your progress private, you shield yourself from this noise and remain focused on what truly matters, bringing your vision to life. There's also a psychological phenomenon that comes at play when you share your goals too openly. Speaking about your plans can create a false sense of accomplishment, tricking your brain into feeling as though progress has already been made. This can sap the motivation needed to actually do the work, leaving you stuck in a cycle of intentions without follow-through. When you choose to remain silent, you're channeling all your energy into action rather than presentation. Every step you take is purposeful, and every effort is directed toward real, tangible outcomes. The beauty of quiet progress is that it allows you to experiment, fail, and grow away from the spotlight. Success is rarely a straight path. It's filled with trial and error, adjustments, and moments of doubt. When you work in silence, you give yourself the freedom to make mistakes without the added pressure of public scrutiny. This space to learn and refine your approach is invaluable, allowing you to emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared when the time comes to reveal your results. And when that moment does come, the impact of your success is magnified. There's a certain respect that comes from delivering results without fanfare. It shows discipline, focus, and a deep commitment to the process. People may not have seen the hours of effort, the sacrifices, or the challenges you faced, but the outcome speaks volumes. It's a testament to your resilience and determination, and it leaves a lasting impression that mere promises never could. Surprising the world with results rather than announcements also sets you apart in an era of constant noise. In a world where everyone seems eager to broadcast their every move, your silence becomes a statement in itself. It signals confidence, self-assurance, and a refusal to seek validation or approval. You're not working for applause or recognition. You're working for the fulfillment of your vision. And that clarity of purpose is rare and powerful. This approach isn't about secrecy for its own sake. It's about strategy. It's about understanding the value of timing and the power of an unanticipated breakthrough. When you reveal your success on your terms, at a time and in a way that aligns with your goals, you take control of the narrative. You're not reacting to external pressures or expectations. You're leading with purpose and intention.
Your life is your story, and you are the author. Every decision you make, every step you take, and every goal you set is a brushstroke in the map.
Let me tell you something about the man who walks alone. He's not weak, he's not lost, he's not incomplete. He is a fortress, built brick by brick, with resilience, purpose, and self. When a man lives alone, society often casts him as someone lacking something. But what they don't understand is that solitude isn't loneliness, it's power. Solitude is the space where strength is forged, where a man looks in the mirror and meets his truest self. No distractions, no noise, just him and the vision he's creating. You see, when you live alone, you don't have someone constantly validating your worth or soothing your insecurities. And that's not a bad thing, it's a gift. Because when no one else is there to build you up, you learn to build yourself. You develop the kind of emotional independence that makes you unshakable. A man who walks this path isn't running from love, he's running toward himself. He's finding out who he is when no one else is watching. He's mastering his focus, sharpening his mind, and building a life that aligns with his vision. And let me tell you this, when a man becomes clear on his vision, there's nothing he cannot achieve. Don't get it twisted. This isn't about rejecting companionship. It's about understanding that no relationship will ever complete you. Fulfillment comes from within. A man who lives alone isn't sitting in the dark waiting for someone to light his fire. He's already burning with his own. Every day he's redefining what it means to live a full life. He's not tied down by distractions or false expectations. His time is his own. His energy is his own. And when the time comes to let someone into that life, he does it not because he needs them, but because he chooses them. So, to the man who lives alone, let the world say what it will. Let them call you incomplete, misunderstood, or different. Because while they talk, you build. While they judge, you grow. And when they finally see the empire you've created, they'll realize that a man who can stand strong in solitude is a man who can conquer anything. Living alone is often misunderstood, seen as a state of lack or isolation, but in truth, it is one of the most powerful experiences a man can embrace. When a man lives alone, he is given the unique opportunity to face himself fully, without distractions, without interference, and without the crutches of external relationships. In that space of solitude, strength is not just developed, it is forged. In a world that constantly tells us we need someone else to complete us, living alone teaches a man that he is already whole. This realization doesn't come easily. It often begins with discomfort, with silence that feels deafening, and emptiness that feels overwhelming. But as days turn into weeks and weeks into months, something shifts. the silence becomes a sanctuary, and the emptiness becomes a canvas. The man begins to see that he is capable of filling his life with meaning on his own terms. He learns to stand tall even when there is no one beside him, and that is where his true strength is born. Strength in solitude comes from self-reliance. Living alone means there is no one else to lean on when things go wrong, no one to share the burden of daily life. It is in these moments that a man discovers his ability to handle challenges on his own. He learns how to fix what is broken, to organize his life, and to make decisions without seeking approval or reassurance. This isn't just about practical skills. It's about cultivating a mindset that says, I can handle whatever comes my way. You can say, over time, this self-reliance builds a deep well of confidence, the kind that cannot be shaken by the opinions or actions of others. Another aspect of strength developed in solitude is emotional resilience. In relationships, it's easy to lean on others for comfort and validation, but living alone requires a man to confront his emotions head-on. He cannot escape sadness, frustration, or fear by seeking solace in someone else. Instead, he learns to sit with those feelings, to process them, and to grow from them. This process may be painful, but it creates a man who is emotionally unshakable. He becomes someone who doesn't crumble under pressure or fall apart when life gets tough. He understands that emotions are fleeting, that they come and go like waves, and he learns to ride them with grace and composure. Solitude also fosters mental clarity and focus. When a man is alone, he has the time and space to reflect deeply on his goals, values, and purpose. Without the distractions of a relationship or the noise of constant interaction, he can hone in on what truly matters to him. This clarity allows him to align his actions with his vision for the future. He becomes disciplined and determined, channeling his energy into personal growth, career ambitions, or creative pursuits. This level of focus is a superpower, one that enables him to achieve things he might never have thought possible. Living alone also teaches a man the value of his own company. He learns to enjoy solitude, to find peace in his own presence. Whether it's reading a book, cooking a meal, or simply sitting in quiet reflection, he begins to appreciate the small, simple moments of life. This ability to find joy within himself is a profound strength, because it means he is no longer dependent on external sources for happiness. He is free from the need for constant companionship, free from the fear of being alone, and free to live life on his own terms. Perhaps the greatest strength that solitude builds is the ability to set boundaries. A man who lives alone understands the importance of protecting his time, energy, and peace. He is not afraid to say no to people or situations that do not align with his values. This boundary setting is a reflection of his self-respect and self-worth, qualities that are often developed in the quiet moments of living alone. He becomes a man who knows what he stands for and refuses to compromise on what truly matters to him. Living alone is not about withdrawing from the world, but about preparing for it. The strength a man builds in solitude is not just for himself, it is for everything and everyone he will encounter in life. It is the foundation upon which he can build meaningful relationships, pursue ambitious goals, and navigate the challenges of life with confidence and resilience. Solitude is not a weakness, it is a crucible, a place where strength is refined and where a man becomes his truest, most powerful self. When a man chooses to live alone, he embarks on a profound journey of self-discovery. Without the constant presence of others and their expectations, he is left to confront himself fully, his strengths, his weaknesses, his desires, and his fears. This solitude provides an unparalleled opportunity to strip away the layers of external influences and uncover the core of who he truly is. In relationships and social settings, a man often plays roles. He might be the dependable partner, the caring friend, or the responsible son. While these roles are important, they can sometimes blur his understanding of his true identity. Living alone removes the need to perform. There is no audience to impress, no expectations to meet, and no one to influence his choices. In this space of freedom, a man can begin to ask the deeper questions. Who am I when no one is looking? What do I truly want in life? What are my passions, values, and dreams? The process of self-discovery in solitude can be both liberating and challenging. At first, the absence of others can feel unsettling. A man may realize how much of his identity was tied to the validation or approval of others. He may find himself questioning decisions he once thought were his own, recognizing how much they were shaped by societal norms or the expectations of family and friends. But as he sits with this discomfort, clarity begins to emerge. He starts to see himself more clearly, not as a reflection of others' opinions, but as an individual with unique thoughts, feelings, and aspirations. One of the most significant aspects of self-discovery is uncovering personal values. When living alone, a man has the time and space to reflect on what truly matters to him. He is no longer influenced by the preferences or priorities of a partner or group. Instead, he can evaluate his own beliefs and principles. This clarity allows him to align his actions with his values, creating a sense of integrity and authenticity that is deeply fulfilling. He becomes a man who knows what he stands for, and this self-awareness becomes a guiding compass in all aspects of his life. Solitude also allows a man to explore his interests and passions without judgment or compromise. In a relationship or social context, he might have felt pressured to conform to shared hobbies or interests, even if they didn't truly resonate with him. But living alone gives him the freedom to try new things, to pursue activities purely because they bring him joy or satisfaction, or whether it's learning a new skill, diving into a creative hobby, or simply taking time to read and reflect. These moments of exploration help him connect with what makes him feel alive and fulfilled. Another powerful aspect of self-discovery in solitude is the ability to confront and understand one's emotions. When living alone, there are fewer distractions to mask feelings of sadness, frustration, or fear. A man is forced to face these emotions head-on, to sit with them and explore their roots. This process can be uncomfortable, but it leads to emotional growth and resilience. He learns that his feelings are not something to be feared or suppressed, but are instead valuable signals that offer insight into his inner world. Over time, this emotional awareness helps him develop a deeper connection with himself and others. Living alone also provides the opportunity to reflect on past experiences and relationships. Without the noise of daily interactions, a man can look back on his life with a clearer perspective. He can identify patterns, understand what has shaped him, and recognize the lessons he has learned. This reflection is not about dwelling on the past, but about gaining the wisdom needed to move forward with purpose and intention. Self-discovery in solitude fosters a sense of independence and self-reliance. A man who lives alone learns that he is capable of taking care of himself, both practically and emotionally. He realizes that he doesn't need others to define his worth or provide his happiness. This independence is empowering because it allows him to approach relationships and life in general from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. Through the process of living alone, a man comes to understand that self-discovery is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. The time spent in solitude is a critical chapter in that journey, one that lays the foundation for a deeper, more authentic connection with himself and the world around him. He learns to appreciate his own company. In doing so, he becomes not only more self-aware, but also more confident, grounded, and prepared to navigate the complexities of life with clarity and purpose. Living in solitude creates a unique environment where focus and ambition can flourish in ways that are often difficult to achieve when surrounded by the constant demands and distractions of others. It's in the quiet of being alone that a man finds the mental clarity and space to channel his energy toward his goals. This environment isn't just about the absence of interruptions. It's about the presence of purpose, where every action can be directed towards something meaningful. Solitude eliminates the distractions that come from navigating relationships and social obligations. While these connections have their place, they often pull a man's attention in multiple directions, dividing his time and energy. Living alone creates a simplified space where priorities can take center stage. Without the need to compromise or consider someone else's preferences, a man can structure his days according to what truly matters to him. His focus becomes sharper because there's no external noise to dilute it. In this space, ambition finds room to grow. The time spent alone allows a man to reflect deeply on his dreams and aspirations. He can map out his goals with precision, considering not only what he wants to achieve, but also the steps required to get there. This clarity is powerful because it transforms vague desires into actionable plans. Solitude becomes a catalyst for progress, enabling him to work toward his vision without unnecessary detours. The absence of external distractions also enhances productivity. Living alone means fewer interruptions and the ability to create an environment tailored to one's needs. Whether it's a quiet workspace, a disciplined daily routine, or simply the freedom to work at one's own pace, solitude provides the ideal conditions for sustained focus. A man learns how to immerse himself fully in his tasks, entering a state of deep work where time seems to disappear and meaningful progress is made. This level of concentration isn't just about getting more done, it's about doing the right things with excellence. Solitude also encourages self-discipline. Without the structure that relationships or social commitments often provide, a man living alone must take full responsibility for his time and actions. This requires him to develop routines and habits that align with his goals. He learns to hold himself accountable, to push through moments of laziness or doubt, and to stay committed even when no one else is watching. Over time, this self-discipline becomes a cornerstone of his success, reinforcing his ability to stay focused and achieve his ambitions. Beyond productivity, solitude fosters creativity and innovation. In the quiet of being alone, a man's mind is free to wander, to explore ideas without judgment or interruption. This mental freedom allows him to think more deeply and creatively about challenges and opportunities. He can experiment, take risks, and pursue unconventional paths without the fear of criticism or the pressure to conform. In this sense, solitude not only sharpens focus, but also expands possibilities, enabling him to approach his goals with fresh perspectives and bold ideas. Another significant aspect of solitude is the ability to avoid unnecessary detours caused by external influences. When living with others or maintaining close relationships, it's easy to get sidetracked by their priorities, opinions, or needs. A man might find himself pursuing goals that aren't truly his own or making compromises that dilute his ambitions. In solitude, there is no one else to please or accommodate. This allows him to stay true to his path, making decisions based solely on what aligns with his values and objectives. It's a form of freedom that ensures his energy is directed toward what genuinely matters. Solitude also strengthens mental resilience, which is essential for maintaining focus over the long term. Without the constant feedback or validation from others, a man learns to trust his own judgment and believe in his ability to succeed. He develops a sense of inner confidence that keeps him steady, even when faced with setbacks or challenges. This resilience is crucial for staying focused in the face of distractions, temptations, or obstacles that might otherwise derail his progress. Solitude provides the opportunity for reflection and recalibration. When living alone, a man has the time to regularly assess his progress and adjust his approach as needed. He can step back from the daily grind, evaluate what's working and what's not, and make intentional changes to stay on track. This process of reflection ensures that his focus remains aligned with his ultimate goals, preventing him from wasting time or energy on pursuits that don't serve his purpose. Living in solitude is not about isolation, but about creating a space where ambition and focus can thrive. It's a deliberate choice to prioritize one's goals, to eliminate distractions, and to cultivate the discipline needed for success. In this environment, a man discovers the power of his own determination and the depth of his potential. Solitude becomes a crucible for growth, refining his focus and sharpening his ambition into a force that can overcome any obstacle and achieve any dream. Emotional independence is one of the most transformative benefits of living alone. Without relying on others for validation or emotional support, a man begins to cultivate a deep sense of self-sufficiency. This process may be uncomfortable at first, but over time it builds a level of emotional resilience and stability that is truly unshakable. It allows him to navigate the complexities of life with confidence and clarity, unaffected by external opinions or temporary setbacks. When a man is constantly surrounded by others, there's often a tendency to seek validation from them. Whether it's a partner, family, or friends, their approval can become a source of reassurance. While this external support is comforting, it can also create dependence. A man might begin to measure his worth through the lens of others' opinions, tying his sense of self-esteem to their approval. Living alone removes this crutch, forcing him to look inward and find his value within himself. The shift from external validation to internal confidence is a powerful transformation. At first, the absence of others' input can feel unsettling. Doubts may surface, and he might question his decisions or capabilities. But as he spends more time in solitude, he learns to trust his own instincts and judgments. He realizes that his worth isn't determined by others' perceptions, but by his own actions, values, and beliefs. This internal grounding becomes a source of strength, allowing him to stand firm even in the face of criticism or rejection. Living alone also provides the space to process emotions fully and independently. In relationships or social settings, there's often an inclination to share problems or feelings with others, seeking their advice or comfort. While this can be helpful, it sometimes prevents a man from truly sitting with his emotions and understanding them. In solitude, there is no one to turn to for immediate reassurance. Instead, he must confront his feelings head-on, exploring their roots and learning how to navigate them on his own. This process of emotional self-reliance builds resilience. A man learns that he doesn't need others to fix his problems or validate his experiences. He develops the tools to manage stress, cope with challenges, and maintain his composure in difficult situations. Over time, this resilience becomes second nature, allowing him to remain calm and centered regardless of external circumstances. He becomes emotionally unshakable, able to weather life's ups and downs with grace and strength. Another aspect of emotional independence is the freedom to define one's own happiness. In relationships, there's often a shared expectation of what happiness should look like, shaped by mutual goals or compromises. Living alone removes these expectations, giving a man the opportunity to explore what truly brings him joy. He can discover his passions, pursue his interests, and create a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. By sustaining solitude, men learn to replace our inner conflicts with headspace of rationality. This self-directed approach to happiness fosters a sense of contentment that isn't reliant on others, making it more enduring and meaningful. Solitude also encourages self-compassion, an essential component of emotional independence. When living with others, it's easy to fall into patterns of comparison or self-criticism, measuring oneself against their achievements or opinions. In the quiet of living alone, a man has the chance to let go of these comparisons and treat himself with kindness. He learns to appreciate his own efforts and recognize his growth, even in the absence of external praise. This self-compassion strengthens his sense of worth and helps him maintain a positive outlook, even during challenging times. Emotional independence enhances relationships in the long run. A man who is emotionally self-sufficient doesn't enter relationships out of need or insecurity, but out of genuine connection and mutual respect. He doesn't rely on others to complete him or provide his happiness. Instead, he brings his whole self to the relationship, offering support without losing his sense of self. This balance creates healthier, more fulfilling connections because they are built on strength and equality rather than dependency. Living alone also fosters a deep sense of personal responsibility. Without someone else to share the emotional load, a man learns to take full ownership of his feelings and actions. He stops blaming external factors for his mood or circumstances and starts looking within for solutions. This accountability empowers him to make intentional choices that align with his. Emotional independence isn't about isolating oneself from others or avoiding relationships. It's about building a solid foundation within, one that isn't shaken by external forces. It's about knowing that you can rely on yourself to handle whatever comes your way and finding peace in your own company. A man who achieves this level of self-sufficiency becomes a force to be reckoned with, confident, resilient, and unshakable. He carries a quiet strength that radiates outward, allowing him to navigate life with grace and purpose, no matter what challenges arise. Time spent alone is one of the most powerful tools for creating a clear and compelling vision for life. When a man has the space to be with his thoughts, free from the noise and distractions of the outside world, he gains the clarity needed to define his goals and aspirations. In solitude, there is no one else to influence his decisions or pull his attention in competing directions. Instead, he can focus entirely on who he is, what he values, and where he wants to go. The process of creating a vision begins with introspection. In the quiet moments of being alone, a man can reflect deeply on his life. He can ask himself meaningful questions that often go unanswered in the rush of daily responsibilities. What truly matters to him? What does success look like in his eyes? What kind of legacy does he want to leave behind? These questions, though simple, open the door to a deeper understanding of his purpose. The answers are not always immediate, but in the stillness of solitude they begin to take shape. Without the influence of societal expectations or the opinions of others, a man can strip away superficial desires and focus on what resonates with him on a core level. This process of self-discovery is essential for creating an authentic vision. It's easy to get caught up in chasing goals that look good on the surface but lack personal meaning. Time alone helps to filter out these distractions and align a man's aspirations with his true values and passions. The vision he creates becomes deeply personal, rooted in his identity rather than external validation. Solitude also allows for focused planning. Once a man has a sense of what he wants to achieve, he can begin mapping out the steps needed to get there. This requires careful thought and consideration, both of which are best achieved in a distraction-free environment. Living alone provides the mental space to break down big dreams into actionable goals, creating a roadmap that feels both ambitious and achievable. This clarity of purpose becomes a guiding force, helping him make decisions that align with his long-term vision. The absence of external pressures further enhances this process. In a world filled with competing demands from work, relationships, and social obligations, it can be challenging to find the time and energy to focus on personal aspirations. Solitude removes these barriers, giving a man the freedom to prioritize his own goals without guilt or compromise. He can dedicate time to learning new skills, pursuing passions, or building habits that support his vision. This focus accelerates progress, turning dreams into tangible outcomes. In addition to planning and goal setting, solitude fosters creativity and innovation. When a man spends time alone, his mind is free to explore new ideas and perspectives. This creative energy is often stifled in busy, overstimulated environments where distractions abound. But in the quiet of solitude, there's room to think deeply, experiment with possibilities, and imagine a future that goes beyond conventional limits. This visionary thinking is what allows a man to set himself apart and achieve extraordinary results. Another significant benefit of creating a vision in solitude is the ability to stay true to oneself. When surrounded by others, it's easy to be influenced by their opinions or to feel the pressure to conform. A man might find himself pursuing goals that aren't truly his own simply because they align with someone else's expectations. In solitude, these influences fade away, allowing him to focus entirely on what matters to him. The vision he creates becomes a reflection of his authentic self, not a product of external pressures. Living alone also provides the opportunity for ongoing refinement of this vision. Life is dynamic, and goals often evolve over time. Solitude allows a man to regularly reassess his progress and adjust his aspirations needed. This process of reflection ensures that his vision remains relevant and aligned with his growth. It also reinforces his commitment as he sees how far he's come and how much closer he is to achieving his dreams. Creating a vision in solitude builds confidence and motivation. When a man takes the time to define his goals and plan his path forward, he gains a sense of purpose that drives him forward. He knows what he's working toward and why it matters, which makes the journey more fulfilling. This clarity also provides a sense of control, as he realizes that he has the power to shape his future. He becomes less reactive to external circumstances and more proactive in pursuing his dreams. Solitude is a gift that allows a man to connect with his deepest aspirations and chart a course toward a life that is uniquely his own. It's in these quiet moments that he discovers what truly matters, aligns his actions with his values, and builds a vision that inspires him to grow and achieve. By embracing time alone, he gains the clarity, focus, and determination needed to turn his dreams into reality. If you want more, redefining fulfillment is about challenging the conventional notion that a relationship is the sole pathway to a meaningful and satisfying life. A man who lives without a girlfriend is not living an empty life. Rather, he is presented with an extraordinary opportunity to fill his world with purpose, freedom, and self-mastery. This choice to focus inward instead of outward allows him to create a life of depth and richness that is entirely his own. Society often equates fulfillment with being part of a romantic relationship. There is a cultural narrative that suggests happiness comes only from companionship and that being single is a temporary state to be fixed. But the reality is quite different. A man who chooses to live without a girlfriend doesn't lack fulfillment, he redefines it on his terms. Fulfillment, in this sense, is no longer dependent on external validation or a relationship status. Instead, it comes from a deeper, more personal connection with himself, his aspirations, and the life he's building. Purpose becomes a cornerstone of this redefined fulfillment. Without the distractions or compromises that often come with relationships, a man has the freedom to fully dedicate himself to his passions and goals. He can dive deeply into his career, creative pursuits, or personal development without feeling the need to divide his attention. This undivided focus allows him to achieve a level of mastery and accomplishment that might otherwise be difficult to attain. Every milestone reached and every goal accomplished adds to his sense of fulfillment, proving that purpose is one of the most powerful sources of satisfaction. Freedom is another essential element of this redefinition. Living without a girlfriend provides a man with unparalleled autonomy. He has the liberty to make decisions that align solely with his values and desires, unencumbered by the expectations or compromises that come with a partnership. This freedom extends to every aspect of life, from how he spends his time to the paths he chooses to explore. He can travel, take risks, or pursue unconventional opportunities without needing to consider how these choices might affect a partner. This level of independence fosters a profound sense of empowerment as he realizes that he is the sole architect of his life. Self-mastery is perhaps the most transformative aspect of this journey. Without a relationship to distract or define him, a man has the time and space to truly know himself. He can explore his strengths, address his weaknesses, and develop the skills and habits that lead to personal growth. This process of self-discovery and self-improvement creates a foundation of confidence and resilience. He learns to rely on himself, trust his instincts, and navigate life with clarity and purpose. This internal strength becomes a source of fulfillment that no external relationship could provide. Redefining fulfillment also means embracing the richness of life's many dimensions. While relationships can be meaningful, they are not the only source of connection or joy. A man living without a girlfriend can cultivate deep and rewarding relationships with friends, family, and mentors. He can engage in his community, contribute to causes he cares about, or build a network of like-minded individuals who inspire and support him. These connections add depth and meaning to his life, proving that fulfillment doesn't require a romantic partner. Living without a girlfriend allows a man to fully experience the beauty of solitude. Solitude is often misunderstood as loneliness, but it is in fact one of life's greatest gifts. It provides the space for reflection, creativity, and renewal. In solitude, a man can listen to his inner voice, process his thoughts, and find clarity amidst the noise of the world. This quiet time becomes a sanctuary, a place where he can recharge and connect with his deeper self. It's in these moments of solitude that he discovers a fulfillment that is profound and enduring. This redefinition of fulfillment also involves rejecting societal pressures and expectations. There is immense freedom in realizing that one doesn't need to follow the traditional path of relationships to find happiness. A man who lives without a girlfriend takes ownership of his life, refusing to let cultural norms dictate his choices. This sense of self-determination is liberating, allowing him to create a life that is uniquely his own. By breaking free from these expectations, he sets a powerful example of what it means to live authentically and on one's own terms. A man who chooses to live without a girlfriend is not settling for less. He is striving for more. He is seeking a deeper kind of fulfillment, one that is rooted in purpose, freedom, and self-mastery. He is building a life that reflects his values, passions, and aspirations, proving that true fulfillment comes from within. It's a life that is not only rich and rewarding, but also deeply empowering. By redefining what it means to be fulfilled, he shows that living without a girlfriend is not a limitation, but an opportunity to thrive in ways that many overlook. In the journey of solitude, a man discovers the untapped power within himself. It is not a life of emptiness or longing, but one of profound self-realization, purpose, and freedom. Through living alone, he cultivates inner strength, learns the art of focus, and masters the resilience that comes with emotional independence. He finds clarity in his vision, redefines fulfillment on his terms, and creates a life rooted in authenticity and personal growth. This path is not one of isolation, but of empowerment, a chance to forge an unshakable foundation that no external circumstance can disrupt. By embracing solitude, he becomes the architect of his destiny, free to explore, create, and achieve without limits. It's a life that proves the true source of fulfillment comes not from the world outside, but from within. Thank you for listening, and may you find the courage to embrace your own journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment when silence speaks louder than words. It's a time to pause, reflect, and remember that your worth is not tied to anyone else's approval. That moment is when you've chosen no contact, not to punish, not to manipulate, but to grow. When the time comes to reconnect, remember this: you're not coming back as the same person. No, you've been refined by the fire of solitude. The silence you endured wasn't emptiness, it was power. Power to redefine who you are and what you deserve. When you pass that test, you'll do so not by trying harder to be what someone else wants, but by fully owning who you are. Stand tall, speak clearly, look him in the eyes, not to seek answers, but to offer a reflection of your newfound strength. And let me tell you something. Confidence is not about shouting your worth, it's about carrying it quietly. When you re-enter the conversation, do so with grace. Observe him. Watch his actions. Words will only take you so far. What does he do? Does he show up? Does he rise to meet your energy? You see, this isn't just his test, it's yours. It's about holding firm to the boundaries you've set, the lessons you've learned, and the peace you've built. Don't lower your standards just because someone knocks on the door again. Keep that gate strong and let only the worthy enter. Because at the end of the day, you don't need anyone to validate you. You are the prize, the light, the strength that stood through the silence. So, pass that test with grace, confidence, and a heart that knows its value. And if he proves himself, if he rises to meet your standards, then and only then will you decide if he gets the honor of walking alongside you. Recognizing your value is the most important step before reconnecting with someone after a period of no contact. This isn't about proving your worth to anyone else. It's about embracing the fact that you are inherently valuable, just as you are. Too often people enter situations seeking validation, hoping someone else will affirm their importance or fill a void within them. But here's the truth. No one can give you what you don't first give yourself. Finding the steps to feel important again is about reconnecting to yourself so you defend a full life, to get things back on track. If you walk into a situation needing to be validated, you hand over your power. That's not love, that's dependence. Before you even think about reconnecting, take the time to reflect on what makes you unique. Your strengths, your growth, the battles you fought silently, and the person you've become in the process. These are the foundations of your self-worth. Every time you've been knocked down and found a way to rise, you've proven your resilience. Every time you've stood firm in your values, even when it was difficult, you've reinforced your character. These are the things that define your worth, not whether someone chooses to recognize them. When the time comes to reconnect, it's not about walking in with a chip on your shoulder or an attitude of superiority. No, it's about quietly knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. You don't need to shout your worth to anyone, because it radiates naturally when you've done the inner work. Your presence will speak for itself. When you value yourself, you stop chasing. You stop begging for love, attention, or approval, because you already possess the most important kind of validation: self-approval. Understand this: the conversation you're about to have isn't about seeking something from him. You're not there to fix, convince, or prove anything. You're there to show up as your best self and let that be enough. And if he doesn't see the light you bring, that's his loss, not yours. Because when you know your worth, you don't settle for crumbs. You don't bend over backward to fit someone else's idea of what you should be. You stand firm in who you are, and the right people will naturally gravitate toward you. Self-worth also means being honest with yourself about what you deserve. If reconnecting with this person makes you feel like you have to compromise your boundaries, shrink yourself, or diminish your light, then you must ask yourself if it's truly worth it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away with your head held high, knowing that staying true to yourself is more important than holding on to someone who doesn't appreciate you. Living lies, banishing legacies, recruiting enemies, and holding on to someone who doesn't appreciate you. But if he shows up with respect, with consistency, and with the intention of adding to your life, then you can decide on your terms whether the relationship is worth rebuilding. The choice is always yours. And that's the beauty of self-worth. It gives you the power to choose rather than settling for what's handed to you. So as you prepare to reconnect, remind yourself of this: you're not coming into the conversation to fill a void or to fix anything. You're stepping into it as someone who already knows their worth, someone who brings light, strength, and value wherever they go. You're not seeking validation, you're carrying it with you. And that makes all the difference. Silence is one of the most underestimated yet powerful tools we possess. In a world that thrives on noise and constant communication, choosing to remain silent can feel counterintuitive. But when you embrace silence, especially in the context of no contact, you begin to understand its true purpose. No contact is not about punishing anyone or creating a sense of longing. It's about resetting the dynamic, recalibrating emotions, and allowing clarity to emerge from the chaos. So, silence creates space to think, to heal, and to reconnect with yourself. When emotions run high, conversations often become reactive rather than thoughtful. In those moments, words can wound, misunderstandings can deepen, and clarity becomes elusive. Silence breaks that cycle. By stepping back and allowing time to pass, you create an environment where emotions can settle. What seemed overwhelming in the heat of the moment begins to fade, and the raw edges of pain start to smooth. This isn't avoidance, it's intentional healing. In silence, you find the gift of introspection. You begin to hear your own thoughts without the interference of outside voices. You can assess what you truly want, what you truly feel, and what you truly need. Often, when you're caught in the noise of a relationship, whether it's conflict, communication, or even just routine, you lose sight of your own inner voice. Silence brings that voice back. It reminds you of who you are and allows you to reevaluate your boundaries, desires, and values. No contact, when used wisely, also reveals truths about others. Silence tests relationships in a way that words cannot. If someone values you, they will respect the space you've chosen and use that time for their own reflection. They won't see your silence as a challenge to overcome or a game to play. Instead, they'll see it as an opportunity to grow, to understand, and to approach you with clarity when the time is right. On the other hand, if someone reacts to silence with anger, manipulation, or indifference, it speaks volumes about their intentions and capacity for emotional depth. There's also a strategic element to silence. It shifts the energy of a relationship. When you step back and stop trying to control the narrative or outcome, you regain your power. You're no longer reacting to every message or attempting to explain yourself endlessly. Instead, you're allowing the other person to sit with their own thoughts and emotions. This shift often forces them to reflect on their behavior, their role in the dynamic, and what they may lose if they don't change. But perhaps the most profound aspect of silence is the way it allows clarity to rise. When the noise fades, the truth has a way of making itself known. You begin to see situations for what they truly are, not through the lens of heightened emotion or wishful thinking. Silence reveals intentions, yours and theirs. It helps you discern whether reconnecting is the right choice or whether it's time to move forward without looking back. Choosing silence isn't easy. It takes strength to resist the urge to explain, defend, or seek immediate resolution. It requires patience and trust in the process, but the rewards are worth it. Silence doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're choosing yourself first. It means you're prioritizing clarity over confusion, peace over chaos, and healing over haste. So when you choose no contact, remember that it's not about punishment. It's a gift you give yourself, a chance to reset, to heal, and to see things for what they truly are. Silence is not the absence of power, it is the presence of wisdom. Use it wisely, and it will lead you to clarity, strength, and ultimately, the peace you deserve. Confidence is more than words. It's a presence, a language that speaks without sound. When the time comes to reconnect after a period of silence or no contact, confidence becomes your most powerful tool. It's not about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself, the energy you bring, and the silent assurance that you know your worth. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's the quiet belief in yourself that no one can take away. Reconnecting after no contact requires you to show up as the best version of yourself. This doesn't mean pretending to be someone you're not or trying to impress the other person. It means standing in your truth, grounded in the knowledge of who you are and what you've been through. Every step you've taken during the silence, Every lesson you've learned and every piece of healing you've done will be reflected in how you present yourself. You don't need to explain it. Your actions, demeanor, and energy will make it clear. Speaking with certainty is key. Confidence is not about having all the answers or never feeling doubt. It's about trusting yourself enough to express what's on your mind without fear of rejection or judgment. When you speak, let your words come from a place of authenticity. Say what you mean and mean what you say. There's no need for over-explaining, apologizing unnecessarily, or seeking approval. Your words should be concise, deliberate, and reflective of the self-assured person you've become. But confidence isn't just in what you say, it's in how you move. Stand tall, shoulders back, and walk with purpose. Body language often speaks louder than words. When you hold yourself with dignity, people take notice. Confidence in your posture and movements conveys that you are comfortable in your own skin, that you are secure in your identity. This nonverbal communication sends a message that you've grown, that you're unshaken, and that you're not here to seek validation, but to engage as an equal. Let your actions be the ultimate proof of your transformation. People can say all the right things, but actions reveal the truth. When reconnecting, allow your behavior to reflect the work you've done on yourself. If you've learned to set boundaries, uphold them with grace. If you've cultivated patience, let it show in how you listen. If you've developed self-respect, let it be evident in the way you respond to situations. Actions rooted in confidence leave no room for doubt. They show, without needing explanation, that you've grown. Confidence also means being unshaken by outcomes. Whether the reconnection goes as planned or not, your sense of self remains intact. True confidence isn't tied to external validation, it comes from within. It's about knowing that whatever happens, you'll be okay because you've built a foundation of self-worth that isn't dependent on anyone else. You're not there to prove anything to the other person. You're there to show up as your authentic self, fully aware of your value. Confidence is the language of self-belief. It's not loud or boastful, it's steady and unwavering. When you reconnect, let that confidence guide you. Speak with certainty, stand tall, and let your actions reflect your growth. The other person will see it, feel it, and understand it without you needing to say a word. And if they don't, it won't matter, because you've already proven it to the most important person, yourself. When reestablishing communication after a period of no contact, it's crucial to shift your focus from chasing to observing. This is not about pursuing the other person or trying to force an outcome. It's about paying attention to how they show up in your life. Are they consistent? Are they respectful? Are they someone who truly values your time and presence? These are the questions you need to answer, not through their words alone, but through their actions. All of the situations you encounter and the price that you have to pay, chasing often stems from a fear of loss, a sense of urgency to fix things or secure someone's attention. But when you chase, you give away your power. You place the other person on a pedestal, making them the center of your focus while neglecting your own worth. This dynamic is neither healthy nor sustainable. Instead, take a step back and observe. Watch how they respond to your presence without you constantly reaching out or pushing the connection forward. Let their actions reveal their intentions. Observing doesn't mean being passive or disengaged. It means being present and mindful. It means noticing the small details, how they communicate, how they handle your boundaries, and whether their words align with their actions. Consistency is a key indicator of someone's character. Anyone can make promises in the moment, but true commitment is shown through repeated, reliable behavior. Are they making an effort to follow through? Are they showing up in ways that match what they say? If their actions don't align with their words, take note. This is not someone who is ready or able to meet you where you are. Respect is another cornerstone of any healthy relationship. Pay attention to how they treat you during this phase of reestablishing communication. Do they listen when you speak? Do they show an interest in your thoughts, feelings, and experiences? Respect isn't just about avoiding obvious signs of disrespect. It's about feeling valued and appreciated for who you are. If they dismiss your feelings, ignore your boundaries, or fail to acknowledge your efforts, that's a clear sign that they may not be worthy of your time. Observing also requires patience, and patience is a form of strength. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of reconnecting and rush to rekindle the connection, but true clarity takes time. Allow the process to unfold naturally. Give them space to show you who they are without feeling the need to control or influence their behavior. When you step back and let things happen organically, you gain a better understanding of their true intentions and whether they align with what you want and deserve. That your time is valuable. You are not there to prove yourself or convince anyone of your worth. Instead, you're assessing whether this person adds value to your life. Do they inspire you? Do they bring positivity and support into your world? If the answer is no, then you have every right to walk away without guilt. Observing allows you to protect your energy and prioritize your well-being, ensuring that you invest your time in someone who genuinely deserves it. When you stop chasing and start observing, you reclaim your power. You shift the dynamic from seeking approval to assessing compatibility. This isn't about being cold or detached. It's about valuing yourself enough to let others show you, through their actions, whether they're capable of meeting your standards. So take your time, watch carefully, and trust that the right person will show up in a way that leaves no doubt about their intentions. If they don't, you'll have the clarity and confidence to move forward, knowing you've stayed true to yourself. Your boundaries are a reflection of your self-respect and self-worth. They are not about keeping people out, but about defining how you allow others to engage with you. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates that open for the right people, those who respect, honor, and appreciate the standards you've set for yourself. When reconnecting with someone after a period of silence, your ability to uphold these boundaries becomes a critical measure of your growth and self-awareness. Setting boundaries begins with understanding your own needs. It's about identifying what feels right to you, what aligns with your values, and what contributes to your emotional well-being. Boundaries are not rules for others, they are guidelines for yourself. They help you navigate relationships with clarity and integrity, ensuring that you don't compromise your own happiness or sense of self for the sake of someone else's approval. If you don't know your boundaries, it's easy to fall into patterns of people-pleasing or overextending yourself to meet someone else's expectations. When reconnecting with someone, you're not just testing their intentions, you're also testing your ability to uphold your standards. It's one thing to know what you want, it's another to enforce it when faced with someone who challenges or disregards your boundaries. This is where the real strength lies. Not in setting the boundary, but in maintaining it, even when it's uncomfortable or when you fear it might drive someone away. Boundaries aren't about controlling others. They're about controlling your own actions and responses. Healthy boundaries are flexible yet firm. They allow room for understanding and growth, but never compromise your core values. If someone respects you, they will honor your boundaries without hesitation or resistance. They won't try to guilt you into lowering your standards or make you feel unreasonable for having them. Instead, they'll see your boundaries as a sign of self-respect and maturity, and they'll rise to meet them. On the other hand, if someone pushes against your boundaries, dismisses them, or tries to manipulate you into changing them, that's a clear red flag. It's a sign that they may not be willing or able to meet you at the level you deserve. Upholding your boundaries is also an act of self-love. It's a way of telling yourself that you are worthy of respect, care, and consideration. When you enforce your boundaries, you're sending a message to yourself and others that your needs matter and that you won't settle for less than you deserve. This act of self-respect has a ripple effect. It sets the tone for how others treat you and empowers you to make choices that align with your best interests. It's important to remember that boundaries are not static. They evolve as you grow and learn. What you needed a year ago may not be what you need now, and that's okay. The key is to stay connected to yourself and regularly evaluate whether your boundaries still serve you. When you reconnect with someone, take note of how they respond to the new version of you and your current standards. Are they willing to adapt and respect the person you've become? Or do they cling to an outdated version of you that no longer exists? Your boundaries define you not by limiting others, but by protecting your peace. They're a declaration of what you will and won't accept, and they act as a filter for the relationships that truly belong in your life. By standing firm in your boundaries, you create space for the right people to step in, those who see your worth and are willing to treat you with the respect and care you deserve. This is not just a test of their intentions, but a testament to your own growth, strength, and unwavering commitment to honoring yourself. Actions have a weight that words can never carry. While words can inspire, soothe, or express intentions, actions reveal truth. When reconnecting with someone, especially after a period of no contact, what you do will always overshadow what you say. It's easy to declare growth or change, but it's the consistent display of that growth that leaves a lasting impression. True transformation doesn't require an announcement. It shines through in how you carry yourself, how you respond, and how you live. When you've invested in yourself and emerged stronger, there's no need to explain every step of your journey. Your actions will tell the story for you. Your newfound grace, resilience, and self-assurance will become evident in how you engage with others, handle challenges, and maintain your boundaries. There's a quiet confidence in showing who you've become rather than trying to convince someone with words. The energy you carry speaks louder than any speech you could give. This doesn't mean you shouldn't communicate or articulate your feelings when necessary, but it does mean that your focus should be on embodying your growth rather than over-explaining it. For example, instead of telling someone, "I've learned to set boundaries," demonstrate it by gracefully but firmly saying no when something doesn't align with your values. Instead of declaring, "I'm stronger now," let your calm, composed reactions to difficult situations reflect that strength. When your actions align with your words, you don't need to validate yourself to others. They'll see it and feel it. The power of showing, rather than telling, lies in its authenticity. Words can be rehearsed or manipulated, but actions come from a deeper place. They reflect your true character, priorities, and intentions. People can easily doubt your words, but they cannot deny the evidence of your actions. If you've truly grown, it will be clear in the way you hold yourself, the choices you make, and the way you navigate life. There's no need to over-explain or justify yourself when your actions consistently align with the person you've become. This approach also fosters trust. When someone sees that your actions back up your words, they begin to trust not only what you say, but also who you are. This trust is built gradually through consistent behavior over time. It shows that you're not just putting on a performance or saying what they want to hear, you're living your truth. This kind of integrity is magnetic. It draws the right people toward you while naturally weeding out those who are not aligned with your values. Showing rather than telling allows you to protect your energy. Over-explaining or trying to prove yourself can feel draining and even diminish the sense of self-worth you've worked so hard to build. By letting your actions speak, you place the focus back on yourself rather than seeking external validation. You shift the dynamic, no longer feeling the need to convince others of your value because you know it within yourself. This approach is particularly powerful when reconnecting with someone. If they've been absent during your growth, let them see the changes in how you engage, the boundaries you uphold, and the grace with which you navigate the interaction. Allow them to observe the difference between who you were and who you are now. Let them wonder, let them reflect, and let them realize the work you've done without you needing to spell it out. Your growth isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about living in alignment with your values and showing up as the best version of yourself. When you do this, you'll find that the right people will recognize and appreciate your transformation without you having to utter a single word. Trust that your actions, rooted in authenticity, will always speak volumes more than words ever could. In life and relationships, your actions, self-respect, and unwavering confidence define who you are far more than any words you could speak. Reconnecting after a period of no contact is not about proving your worth to anyone else. It's about embodying the growth you've achieved, holding firm to your boundaries, and letting your grace and resilience shine through. Your silence has given you clarity, your boundaries have defined your standards, and your actions now demonstrate the strength of the person you've become. You are not here to chase, beg, or explain yourself. You are here to stand tall, observe, and let your energy attract what is truly meant for you. By staying true to yourself, you create space for the right people and the right outcomes to enter your life naturally, without force or compromise. Let your light speak for itself. It will always guide you toward the connections and opportunities you deserve. Let this be your mantra. Repeat it frequently, and your energy will grow stronger. This is your chief assistant, which will always guide you toward the connections and opportunities you deserve. Thank you for taking this journey of self-reflection and growth. Stay strong, stay focused, and always remember the incredible power you hold within. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you have to make a decision, not just any decision, but one that defines who you are, what you stand for, and what you will no longer tolerate. We live in a world that preaches forgiveness. Give them another shot, they say. People change. But let me tell you something, not everybody deserves a second chance. You see, a second chance is not a birthright. It is a privilege. And too many of us have been handing out that privilege like free samples at a grocery store. We keep welcoming people back into our lives who have done nothing but disrespect, deceive, and disappoint us. And what happens next? They do it again. Why? Because you taught them that they could. The first time someone lies to you, it's on them. The second time, that's on you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's my mistake. We must stop making excuses for people who show us, again and again, who they truly are. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what about grace? What about kindness? Listen, I'm all for forgiveness, but forgiveness does not mean re-entry. You can forgive someone and still leave them exactly where they are. You can wish them well from a distance. What you cannot do is continue to invite betrayal into your life and expect peace to follow. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to carry dead weight? Have you ever held on to something that only dragged you down? That's what happens when you keep giving chances to people who do not deserve them. Growth requires release. Elevation demands separation. If you want to fly, you need to stop clinging to the things that keep you grounded. Some of you have been holding on to broken relationships, toxic friendships, and fake love, hoping, praying that things will change. But let me be real with you. Trust, once broken, never comes back the same. You can tape up a shattered mirror, but every time you look at it, the cracks will still be there. So today I challenge you, stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop extending your hand to those who wouldn't lift a finger for you. Stop giving second chances to people who never even deserved the first one. Your time is too valuable, your energy is too sacred, your future is too bright. Leave the past behind and watch how much lighter your journey becomes. A second chance is something that should be earned, not something that should be handed out freely. Too often, we confuse kindness with blind generosity, believing that if we forgive and forget, people will suddenly change. But the truth is, Not everyone deserves a second opportunity, especially when they have already shown you who they are the first time. When someone betrays your trust, disrespects your boundaries, or disregards your feelings, what guarantees do you have that they won't do it again? If anything, by giving them another chance too easily, you might be setting yourself up for the same pain all over again. Trust is one of the most valuable things you can give another person. It takes time to build, yet it can be broken in an instant. When someone deceives you, lies to you, or takes advantage of your goodwill, they are making a choice, a conscious decision. That is not an accident. It is not something that just happens. So why should they automatically be given the privilege to come back into your life as if nothing ever happened? And a second chance should never be automatic. It should never be expected. The person who wronged you should have to work for it, prove they have changed, and show through actions, not just words, that they are worthy of another opportunity. Words are cheap. Apologies can be rehearsed. But true change requires effort, self-awareness, and accountability. The question is, are they willing to do the work? Because if they aren't, then what's stopping them from making the same mistake again? Think about this. If a business fails you as a customer, if they sell you a faulty product, give you terrible service, or take your money without delivering what was promised, you are not obligated to give them another chance. You can choose to take your business elsewhere. Relationships, friendships, and partnerships work the same way. You are not obligated to keep someone in your life simply because they want to be there and go through all of the rights. If you are not obligated to keep someone in your life simply because they want to be there, if they have failed you before, they need to prove why they deserve to stay. The problem is, too many people take advantage of good-hearted individuals. They know you are forgiving, they know you have a soft spot, and they use that against you. They apologize, they act remorseful, but deep down, they expect to be let back in without truly making any effort to change. They don't fear consequences because they assume you'll always be there. That is why it is so important to establish boundaries and to stand firm in your decisions. If someone breaks your trust and expects a second chance, they need to understand that it is not guaranteed. Life is too short to keep giving free passes to people who do not value your presence. Your time, your energy, and your peace of mind are too precious to waste on those who have already shown you they cannot be trusted. Instead of focusing on giving out second chances, focus on surrounding yourself with people who never needed one in the first place, because those are the people who truly deserve to be in your life. When someone hurts you once, it can be chalked up to a mistake, an isolated incident. We are all human. We all make errors, some of which might unintentionally cause pain. But when that same person hurts you a second time, it's no longer a mistake. It's a pattern, a choice. And that choice, whether they realize it or not, reflects how little they truly respect you or value the trust you've given them. The second time is no longer their fault, it's yours for allowing it to happen again. You see, the first time someone lets you down, they are showing you their flaws, their weaknesses, and their ability to make mistakes. But the second time is different. The second time is where you decide whether to continue accepting the behavior or stand up for yourself. The first time is an opportunity for you to understand, forgive, and adjust. The second time is a decision on your part to either enable that behavior or set a firm boundary. If you let it slide again, you are choosing to accept it, to accept that it's okay for them to treat you this way. You are, in essence, allowing them to repeat the same hurtful behavior without consequence. The truth is, people are creatures of habit. Once someone has crossed a boundary with you and done something that causes pain, they know exactly what they are doing the second time around. There's no confusion, no accident, and no misunderstanding. They have now made a conscious choice to act in the same way again. If you continue to let them back into your life, it's not them who's responsible for the continued disappointment, it's you for tolerating it. The repeated disappointment you feel is not because they are making the same mistakes again, it's because you are allowing them to make those mistakes in the first place. You are choosing to accept behavior that doesn't serve you. And every time you accept that behavior, you are teaching them that it's okay to hurt you, to disrespect you, and to expect that nothing will change. You are allowing them to maintain control over your emotional well-being. And that is something no one should ever have power over. It's important to remember that boundaries aren't just for the other person. They are for you, to protect your peace, your heart, and your mental health. Repeated disappointment is a direct result of not respecting those boundaries. You are not responsible for their actions, but you are responsible for how you choose to respond to those actions. You are responsible for deciding whether or not to let someone back into your life after they've shown you they are capable of hurting you. Once you recognize that repeated disappointment is a choice, you realize that you have the power to stop it. You have the ability to say, "No more. I will not allow this behavior in my life." And when you make that decision, you free yourself from the cycle of hurt. You stop giving people the chance to break your heart because you understand that the second time is not an accident. It's a pattern that you can choose to break. It's not easy. It's hard to walk away from someone who you once trusted, who you once believed in. But remember, allowing someone to disappoint you over and over again is not a sign of loyalty. It's a sign of self-neglect. You have to choose yourself, your peace, and your worth above all else. It's your responsibility to protect your heart, to guard your emotions, and to stop giving second chances to people who have shown they cannot be trusted. Because when you let them hurt you twice, the only mistake left is your own. Loyalty is one of the most precious gifts you can give another person. It's not something to be thrown around lightly, and it certainly should not be given to just anyone who asks for it. Loyalty is earned, not automatically granted. It is a bond built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. But too often, we give our loyalty freely to people who don't deserve it. We allow them into our lives, into our hearts, and into our inner circle, only to find that they are not there to add value, but to take advantage. That's why it's crucial to be selective with your loyalty and to understand that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. In this world, there are people who will gladly accept your loyalty without ever giving anything in return. These are the individuals who see your kindness as an opportunity to exploit your trust for their own gain. They want access to your time, your resources, your energy, but they have no intention of ever reciprocating. They may flatter you, promise you the world, and act as if they care deeply, but their actions will always tell a different story. They are not interested in a partnership. They are interested in using you until you have nothing left to offer. And if you continue to give them your loyalty, you are only enabling their selfish behavior. When you give loyalty to the undeserving, you are not only disrespecting yourself, but you are also allowing the other person to take advantage of your goodwill. Loyalty should never be given out of obligation, guilt, or the hope that someone will change. If someone consistently proves that they cannot be trusted, that they only show up when it benefits them, then it's time to stop offering them your loyalty. True loyalty should come with mutual respect. It should be based on the understanding that both parties are invested in each other's well-being and growth. Anything less than that is a one-sided relationship, and it's not worth your time or energy. Being selective with your loyalty doesn't mean you stop being kind or compassionate. It means that you are wiser about where you invest your emotional resources. It means understanding that your time and your energy are limited, and you cannot afford to give them away to people who don't appreciate what you bring to the table. Just because someone asks for your loyalty doesn't mean they deserve it. Loyalty should be given to those who prove their worth, not to those who take you for granted. Too many people waste years of their lives chasing after validation from individuals who don't have their best interests at heart. They bend over backward, constantly giving and giving, hoping that eventually things will change. But the truth is, loyalty is not a tool to be used to fix people. It is a reflection of mutual trust and respect. If that respect is not present, then your loyalty will be nothing more than a tool of exploitation. Time is the most precious resource you have. It's the one thing you can never get back, no matter how hard you try. Once it's gone forever. And yet, we often spend it on people and situations that drain us, leaving us empty, exhausted, and with nothing to show for it. Protecting your energy isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. You need to guard it with the same level of care that you guard your time, your resources, and your heart. Not everyone deserves a piece of you, and the sooner you recognize that, the better your life will become. When someone has already shown you their true colors, when they've proven that they are not trustworthy, not supportive, or not genuinely interested in your well-being, it's time to stop investing your energy in them. The first time they disappoint you is a warning. The second time, a confirmation. By then, the writing is on the wall. And yet, many of us continue to give them our time, our thoughts, and our emotional resources, hoping they will change, or worse, believing that somehow we can make them better. But here's the hard truth. People rarely change unless they want to. You can't pour your energy into someone who's already shown you who they are, expecting them to turn into someone they are not. Each moment you spend with people who drain you is a moment you're not getting back. Time spent in toxic relationships with individuals who do not add value to your life is time wasted. You could be focusing that energy on building something for yourself, something that will move you forward, something that will help you grow, something that will bring you peace. But instead, you are stuck, giving and giving to someone who takes and takes without ever offering anything in return. This imbalance of energy can wear you down in ways you might not even notice until it's too late. The constant emotional toll of trying to please or change others is exhausting, and it can leave you feeling like you're running on empty. In life, you must learn to be selective about where and to whom you give your time. Not everyone is worth it. Some people will take everything you have to offer and still want more. They'll manipulate your kindness, use your time, and offer nothing but stress and frustration in return. When you continue to pour your energy into such people, you are sacrificing your peace, your happiness, and your potential. You are allowing them to drain your life force, leaving you with little for yourself. It's crucial to recognize that you have the power to protect your energy. You have the ability to decide where and how you invest your time. There is no law that says you must remain tied to people who do not respect you, who do not value your presence, or who only bring negativity into your life. You are not obligated to stay in relationships that are not serving you. You can choose to walk away. You can choose to stop responding to people who are not contributing positively to your life. Protecting your energy is about recognizing your worth. You are not here to be used or to be a source of endless emotional labor for people who won't reciprocate. Your time is too valuable, your peace too precious, and your future too bright to waste on those who are not worthy of it. So be selective, be intentional, and be strong enough to let go of the people who drain you. The right people, those who will respect you, appreciate you, and build with you, will come into your life when you stop giving your energy to the wrong ones. Your time is your most valuable currency, and when you invest it wisely, you will find yourself surrounded by the people and opportunities that will truly help you grow. Growth, whether personal or professional, demands movement, progress, and the ability to evolve. But here's the hard truth. You cannot move forward if you're constantly carrying the weight of things that are holding you back. And some of those things are people, relationships, friendships, and connections that no longer serve you, or worse, actively hinder your growth. Success and self-respect require that you leave behind the dead weight, the things and people who have proven time and time again that they do not contribute to your elevation. You must stop watering dead plants and expecting them to grow. There comes a time when you have to let go of what is no longer working. Holding on to dead weight, whether it's a toxic friendship, a stagnant relationship, or a disempowering environment, only drains you and wastes your energy. You might feel compelled to keep these things in your life because of history, guilt, or a misplaced sense of loyalty. But the truth is, the more you hold on to something or someone that isn't contributing to your life in a meaningful way, the more you are delaying your own progress. Growth requires space, and sometimes that space can only be created when you remove the things that are no longer serving you. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of potential. We often see the best in people, believing that they can change, grow, or improve. But the reality is that some people will never change, and some situations will never improve, no matter how much time and energy you invest. It's like trying to revive a dead plant by watering it constantly. You pour your effort into something that is beyond saving, and in doing so, you are neglecting the healthy plants in your life, those who are capable of growing, thriving, and offering you the support and energy you need to succeed. Success requires focus, clarity, and determination. And you cannot have any of those things if you are constantly dealing with people or situations that drain your emotional, mental, or physical energy. The people around you have a significant impact on your progress. If you, instead of pushing you to grow, they pull you down into a space where it becomes harder and harder to move forward. You might find yourself stuck in a cycle of frustration, giving your energy to those who never give anything back. Self-respect is also a critical factor in this process. You must respect yourself enough to understand that you deserve to be surrounded by people who help you grow, not hinder your progress. Letting go of toxic relationships and environments is not about cutting people off out of spite. It's about protecting your own peace and maintaining a life that aligns with your values and goals. You owe it to yourself to create an environment where you can thrive, where you are constantly challenged, motivated, and inspired to become the best version of yourself. When you choose to let go of dead weight, you are also making a statement about your own worth. You are saying that your time, energy, and peace of mind are valuable, and that you will no longer waste them on people or situations that do not contribute positively to your life. Success doesn't come from constantly tending to things that aren't growing. It comes from nurturing what has the potential to flourish. So, stop watering dead plants. Stop giving your energy to things that will never bloom. Let go of the people and situations that hinder your growth, and make room for those who will lift you up, challenge you, and walk alongside you as you reach your goals. Your future self will thank you for it. Trust is one of the most fragile elements of any relationship. It's the foundation upon which everything else is built. Love, respect, loyalty, and understanding. When trust is broken, it's like a mirror that shatters into 1,000 pieces. You can try to glue it back together, you can attempt to repair it, but the cracks will always remain. No matter how hard you try to make it whole again, it will never be the same as it was before the break. There are two kinds of love. One person is as good as another, and when you want one, you never want another. When you want the same as it was before the break, and trust works in much the same way. Once it's broken, it's never quite as strong as it was before. When someone betrays your trust, it's not just the act of betrayal itself that causes the damage. It's the impact it has on your ability to see that person and the relationship with the same clarity as before. You see the cracks. You start questioning everything they've said and done. Doubt creeps in, and no matter how much you want to believe them again, something inside you knows that the trust you once had is now tainted. Even when the person apologizes or tries to make amends, the damage remains. You might forgive, you might move forward, but the foundation of trust has been compromised. The challenge is that trust, once broken, doesn't simply heal with time. It requires consistent effort, transparency, and a genuine commitment from the person who broke it. If the person who betrayed you doesn't make a real effort to show they've changed, if they don't prove through their actions that they are worthy of your trust again, then the cracks will never fully disappear. You may be able to glue the pieces together, but the mirror will never reflect the same image as before. Trust can be repaired to some extent, but it can never be fully restored to its original state. Trust is built over time. It's built on a foundation of consistency, honesty, and reliability. When it's broken, it's like a bridge that has collapsed. The repairs might be able to support the weight of the relationship, but the bridge will never be as solid as it was before. The cracks, no matter how small, will always be visible. The trust you once had will always be tainted by the memory of the betrayal. Once trust is broken, the person who has betrayed you may no longer be able to see themselves the same way. The actions that led to the break in trust have changed how they are viewed, both by you and by themselves. They might try to convince you that they can be trusted again, but the reality is that once trust is fractured, it takes significant time and effort to prove they can be trusted again. The burden of proof lies with the one who broke it, not the person who was hurt. This is why, when trust is broken, it's not just about the immediate consequences of the betrayal. It's about the long-term impact on the relationship. Even if you continue on in the relationship, the dynamics will be forever altered. The fear of being hurt again, the doubt that lingers in the back of your mind, and the knowledge that trust was once broken will always create a barrier, even if it's invisible. Trust, once shattered, never regains its original form. It can be repaired, it can be rebuilt, but it will never be the same as it was before the break. The cracks will always remain, a constant reminder of what was lost. And in some cases, it's better to acknowledge that the cracks are too deep to be mended and to move on, rather than clinging to something that no longer serves you. Trust is fragile. Once it's broken, it's never as strong as it was before. The sooner we accept this truth, the sooner we can protect ourselves from the pain of false expectations and begin to rebuild stronger, more authentic relationships moving forward. In conclusion, the essence of trust, loyalty, and personal growth lies in being selective about who and what you invest your time and energy into. Life is about protecting your peace, valuing yourself enough to know when to let go, and understanding that not everyone deserves your loyalty or your second chance. The truth is, once someone has broken your trust or repeatedly disappointed you, it's your responsibility to protect your heart and move forward, leaving behind those who hinder your progress. Growth requires letting go of dead weight, just as success demands that you guard your energy and make wise decisions about who has access to it. Trust, once broken, can never be fully restored to its original form, and you must accept that some relationships will never heal. To move forward and thrive, you must be brave enough to let go of what no longer serves you, to protect your energy, and to choose the relationships that build you up, not tear you down. Your time is invaluable, and you must guard it fiercely. Thank you for your time and attention. Remember, protecting your peace and setting healthy boundaries is an act of self-respect, and your journey toward growth and success starts with making those tough decisions.